Good afternoon. I can say good afternoon now because it's almost afternoon, right? We're almost there. Okay, so welcome and thank you for hanging and listening. My name's Clare Edelgren. I am the Global Head of Operations and Sales Enablement for EY's blockchain business. What's that, you probably ask, right? So EY's been quite committed for some time to building enterprise solutions on a public blockchain. We choose to focus on Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem. And we're probably the only company of our type that does that, right? And we've been doing it for about 7 or 8 years now. Prior to doing this, I spent about 25 years doing technology-led transformations for very large companies. And so I learned a little bit about scale, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. Show of hands, who else is building solutions on public blockchain? Any solutions? Developing, investing, designing, right? Takes a lot. I feel at home already. I started out as a developer a very long time ago. And I sort of took a winding road, and I spent quite some time doing pure strategy too. And for a lot of you will think pure strategy and development, those are worlds that are very, very far apart. And I'm here to tell you that it's really important that they're not. You will build better stuff if you are better at answering the questions that matter. And I'm going to illustrate it, or try to illustrate it this afternoon with a question that mattered for us, which is privacy. We'll talk a little bit about what is privacy for an enterprise. And it's one of those words that means different things to different people. Some people, and it's an oxymoron in the context of transparency too, right? You think, well, why do you want privacy in a transparent environment? And so let's talk a little bit about it. Before we jump into that, why does an enterprise want to use public blockchain? I think it's a fair question. Why would they? Well, for the same reason as anybody else. Because of the unique differentiation that public blockchain brings to their use case. And they have a use case that needs it. That means they have a use case that needs and relies on a decentralized ledger with a decentralized governance. That's how you get the transparency, immutability, and everything else that we know, right? If your use case doesn't rely on that, if that's not a critical, unique differentiator for your use case, and you can achieve it in some other way, then you're running a risk of being displaced. You can be displaced by something very, very quickly built with whatever technology is available, cheaper, quicker, faster. And I would argue that's what we see quite often, actually. And that's my first point about privacy, because sometimes people misinterpret private as being privacy, right? Well, private means that you've done one of two things. You've either gone and built a private blockchain, or you've tried to create a privately networked governance structure to achieve your use case. If you have done that, then you are not using the unique differentiator for public blockchain. You'll probably be displaced. But the other thing as well is you haven't achieved privacy. And someone illustrated it really well for me just last week. Imagine you're on a private beach, and it's a private nudist beach, and we're all on it. We can still see each other. That's not privacy. Private is not privacy, right? That's the first one. The second one that gets thrown out there is that you can achieve a degree of privacy through, my mind's all gone blank now, but through anonymity. And to a degree, that's true. You can definitely achieve a degree of anonymity, and you'll have some kind of a privacy from it. But that's not an option for the enterprise. An enterprise needs to answer to shareholders, consumers, to regulators, to any number of stakeholders. So anonymity in who and how they do business and who and how they sell isn't an option for them. That's not what privacy is to the enterprise. So what is it then? what it is if, let me see, you're the company, I'm a company. We're going to do really simplistically, you've got stuff and I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for your stuff. When we're doing business this way, you've got competitors. I've got competitors. I don't mind them knowing that we're doing business, but I don't necessarily want them to know some of the facts. That's the privacy that an enterprise needs. And it's called confidentiality, right? It's confidentiality. That's what we want to do. That's the problem that we then need to go solve if we're going to build enterprise solutions on a public blockchain, right? So that's what EY's been doing. We've been noodling on that for quite some time. My boss would say too long, but quite some time. And that's why we came up with Nightfall, right? We happen to be lucky to have a really talented set of mathematicians as well as others, and they came up with Nightfall. Nightfall is zero-knowledge technology that allows you to move tokens with privacy around on a public blockchain. And it is available. It's open on the public domain. You can go look at it, use it. If you think it's relevant for your use case, go look at it, go check it out. I will say, it's complex, right? And not everyone is lucky enough to have the skills that we have available in-house. And that was where the second idea came up for Starlight. And with Starlight, what you can do is you can take a Solidity contract, you can mark up the variables that you'd like to keep confidential, right? And then what Starlight does is it will compile for you the zero-knowledge enabled application onto the public blockchain. Starlight 2 is available. It's out there. Go look at it. It's on GitHub. Go play with it and use it and start to think about whether that's relevant for you. I think what I want to leave you with is this idea that while the technical aspects of scaling require increased throughput, and a lot of that will come from zero-knowledge rollups and side chains and all of the other good stuff that you're all innovating and creating, and all of that, we need it. To succeed in scaling, you also need to get good at really thinking and making sure that you're dealing with the actual real issues that will have to be solved along the way. Think it through and think about what it is, what matters for your use case to scale, and focus on solving those problems. And I wish you great luck. And I'd love to talk to any of you and hear your ideas afterwards. So it would be wonderful.
Thank you, Claire. Any questions? So I have one question, actually. You said that people should go to the GitHub and find the Nightfall and Starlink.
Yep.
But can they just take it for free, or is there some commercial?
No, Nightfall and Starlight have been contributed. We have other things in we've got other solutions, let's say, and those we sell as SaaS. That's the big part of our portfolio. But this is too important, actually. The doing privacy right is a bit too important. So it's out there. So it's absolutely out there. And I guess I can say there'll be some more news coming a little bit later this year, but I can't share that now. But there will be some more coming. But
nice.
It's already available. It's already out there.
So it's a public good, basically.
It is.
So EY contributing to
Please do take it and make it better. I mean, it is. This is hard stuff. It's not easy, but it's good.
Thank you. I actually we have a little bit of time, so I'd say a few words. I actually remember open sourcing Nightfall when I was at EY.
Yeah.
And that's how I actually got a job in the blockchain team, because I throw a party for the open sourcing of Nightfall. And,
always works.
And
if
they hire
all else
me.
Fails, just throw a party and you'll be fine.
So yeah, if you want to just get hired by EY blockchain, just throw a party. It works.
It works. Yeah.
Anything else? EY contributed to the public domain other than Nightfall or Starlink?
No, well, I would say Nightfall's had a. I mean, we're up to Nightfall 3 now. Nightfall 3 came out last year, and so that's what you want to look for. Nightfall 4 will come later this year. Starlight's out there. Maybe at some time, what we'll do is pull those together as well, which I think would be fantastic. We have a lot of other things in our toolkit, absolutely. But we also need to make some money to fund the other research that we're doing. But yeah,
And fund our event. So thank you for that.
Exactly.
So funding parties and research. That's crypto.
We have to make money too, right? You have to make money too.
Yeah, no. So thank you for partnering with us for that, and thank you for your talk.